Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me as we take a look at the astrological energies from August 21st through August 28th, where we have the final week of Mercury retrograde. We also have the ongoing tension between Jupiter and Gemini squaring Saturn retrograde in Pisces. We're going to see the Sun enter Virgo this week, plus a lot going on with the personal planets, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. So we'll be covering all of that in today's show. And I want to just jump in and talk about the ongoing pressure between Jupiter and Gemini squaring Saturn retrograde in Pisces at 17 degrees in your chart. So you want to identify, if you haven't already, where you have 17 degrees of Gemini. This is where Jupiter is bringing alive more of that Gemini energy of communication, words, ideas, even those best case scenarios that Jupiter will amplify. And that energy is squaring Saturn at 17 degrees of Pisces in your chart. So you want to identify that degree point if you haven't already. And this is where Saturn wants you to be responsible, mature, wise, and be aware of what you're ending and closing out. Of course, these are simply brief descriptions of these energies, but what I really want to focus on is that these two houses in your chart are where you're experiencing ongoing pressure and where it could be hard to make a decision or to fully trust yourself. So the two houses here, and they could be any two houses. They could be your first house and your fourth house, your seventh house and your ninth house. It could be any two houses. And all houses in astrology represent an environment, an area of life that you are becoming more conscious of that has particular needs and expressions. And these are the houses that are trying to figure something out and find their way right now. And that could be what you're feeling, is that this square is requiring growth. It's requiring you to think of a third way. Now, both Gemini and Pisces are signs of duality. Gemini can relate to the two hemispheres in our brains, tossing ideas back and forth, understanding one side and then the other, then looking to have a clear concept or perception that we choose. Pisces is the duality between the physical and the non-physical, between our human energies, our human faculties, and then where we go to disconnect and detach into the higher realms of spirit, intuition, the unknowns, and what awaits us in that energy field. So you could be feeling right now that you are split. Two experiences of yourself are looking to resolve an issue or something that you're moving through. This could be your higher self, which is where Saturn in Pisces is located, as well as your human self and your mind being quite strong, and you're wanting to figure out how can these parts of myself coexist right now. And you could also have a pressure point around resisting one choice or one path. We are struggling with the duality of different understandings of self, where the mind wants one version to exist and your spiritual self wants another version to be felt, to be heard, and to be responsibly managed. So at this time, we are in this pressure that's occurring at 17 degrees of Gemini and Pisces. And if you have any other planets or points in your chart at 17 degrees of the mutable signs, so Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, if you have planets directly at 17 degrees, you're feeling it the most. I would say this orb actually goes to 14 degrees of the mutable signs and 18 degrees. Now I'm giving it a small orb, and here's why. Jupiter and Saturn are going to have their second square in these same signs at 14 degrees the end of December. And they're going to meet again to reevaluate this pressure and how much you've grown, what the pressure has created. Again, that third option, that third possibility. And that's one way to work with this square, is that because each feels challenged, there is a way to then allow that pressure to force another potential, another pathway, another idea. But it might not be evident while the square is intense, which is the case right now. Both planets remain at 17 degrees until August 24th. Then Jupiter moves ahead and Saturn slowly continues retrograde. They are still within orb, however, as we move into September. And it's not until late September that their orb increases to 5, then 6, then 7 degrees apart. So the pressure is going to exist into mid-September, and you could feel unsettled. You could feel like you really don't know what to choose, what path to take. And again, you could feel like you're experiencing two versions of yourself at the same time. Now, there is a very cool term here that can be helpful for this energy: metacognitive autonomy. Metacognitive autonomy, which is being able to observe yourself, watching your own patterns, your own process, and your own decision making. This is where you go into the macro version of yourself, viewing what you're contemplating and what you're moving through, and observing it more. Looking at, well, what have been my patterns here? How have I solved problems or made decisions? Have I been too heavily in the Gemini energies of logic, rationale, details, specifics? Has this worked well for me, or has it held me back from other choices or potentials that the mind doesn't recognize? Then you could observe as well, with Saturn in Pisces, have I avoided choices? Have I avoided certain situations or tension or feelings because Saturn is now bringing your attention to what you have not taken care of? So Jupiter wants to talk it out, think it through, and communicate. Saturn in Pisces doesn't want to deal with it all that much, wants to have time alone to process, to feel, to go into what the energy is saying. And these two parts of yourself, again, could feel very unresolved, creating internal conflict, mental fatigue, and emotional strain. But metacognitive autonomy allows you to detach and look at what is really going on here, what is really affecting me, and also to observe how this is working with your nervous system, how this is affecting your body, and even recognize not only those patterns, but the effects those patterns are having on you. So, not sleeping well, feeling restless, looking for some kind of escape mechanism, needing to overly think in order to figure it out, not giving yourself time to rest. In addition to these energies being in a tight square right now, during this week, we also have Venus in Virgo, and she is still opposing this Saturn in Pisces and squaring Jupiter in Gemini, plus Mars. Oh yes, Mars is in Gemini, also squaring Venus in Virgo. This is that mutable T-square energy, I've been calling it mutable mayhem, that is stirring up more for us to look at, but it could feel like it's too much. Venus in Virgo, she wants a solution. She wants a remedy. She wants to figure it out. And she may keep bringing you new options to test or to try. She may be presenting you with a practical approach to keep you grounded, new choices to think through and sit with, and to consider, is this best for me and my energy? Is this nourishing me and supporting me? We could basically have overloaded systems right now that have so much up in the air that we're trying to move through it, make choices, do the best we can, even if it's simply minute by minute or hour by hour. The other element here that I feel we're opening up to and moving into is intuitive synthesis, bringing more of our intuition, feelings, and energetic senses into our daily guidance, to trust that the mind doesn't always know what to do, but your intuitive guidance system does. And that could be a battle. That could be something you're feeling, resisting or fighting, where the mind will stick with what it knows, what it's been through. The mind can be deeply connected to the past situations, past choices, and you're formulating, well, what is safe? What is the best option based on what I've been through? But intuitive synthesis is that we're learning to make decisions by incorporating our intuition and what the energy is saying, how the energy is speaking to us. And this could feel like a big risk. It's unknown, it's uncertain. We're wanting to know if it's going to pan out, or is this the right direction? And because these are all mutable signs that are designed to flex and move and be adaptable, keep in mind that every choice will lead to the next choice, the next decision point. And instead of being overloaded mentally, allow the energy to guide you and lead you, and to work with it in a new way that connects you to more that you're ready for. And I feel that August is highlighting for us the fact that we live in a universe with unlimited miracles, with unlimited possibilities, and that at a base level, you can't make a wrong decision, because whatever you decide or choose, the universe meets you there to say, okay, great, here we are on the game board. What should we do next? And then we make our next choice. Okay, great. Now where do you want to go? Where is the energy leading you? Okay, awesome. Let's go there. So it's about getting out of over-relying on the mind as the only way to stay safe or to figure it out, because there's things that you can't know and you won't know unless you trust the energy to move you forward. And it's going to also bring you to even more that the mind wouldn't have known or figured out. So we're going through some big energies that, again, you could feel like you have an overloaded system. You're exhausted, you're strained, you're stressed. And the guidance is actually to settle into a quiet place to listen. In this mutable T-square, Saturn is stronger. And Saturn is retrograde. So Saturn is redirecting you to your internal voice and your higher self, and asking you to work with the unknown, to create a new vision, a new outcome, a new level of trust that whatever you're seeking to figure out or solve, there's multiple good answers. Or maybe that's the stress. There's too many good things to choose from. But listen to the higher self guidance and make the higher choice. I think with the sun in Leo for just a few more days, depending on when you listen to this, it's about being brave and more confident than you've been. We also have Mercury retrograde in Leo traveling behind the sun now. And as Mercury moves behind the sun, you see a new angle of the light. You see and feel what was not apparent previously. And now Mercury is doing behind the scenes investigations and processing that also allows Mercury the messenger to understand more of what has been in his unconscious that has been driving him. And Mercury behind the sun will activate that, will show you perhaps some of those shadow elements or those fears that have been swirling in the mind, and ask you to see them in a new way and work with them from a more positive place, especially in Leo. So with Mercury traveling behind the sun, there's a part of ourselves that is deeply processing, thinking through, and being in a state of inquiry. Reviewing where you've been, what you've previously decided can also be highlighted as well. And Mercury retrograde is impacting Jupiter and Mars in Gemini, since Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So these energies suggest that we're not going to have a clear-cut single answer. And I feel this as a gift of opening up to more of our multidimensional powers, where you can walk with greater trust that what you decide or what you choose will play out or pan out, and that you're not heavily attached to it because you know you can handle it or move through it, whatever it might be. There's a strengthening energy behind the scenes, and there's also a sense of being able to apply your spiritual knowledge with greater confidence in yourself. So this T-square is quite dominant right now. And again, you're going to feel it more personally if you have planets or points between 14 to 18 degrees of the mutable signs. Venus in Virgo is also asking us to purge and clean out what is excessive, what is too much, where we find ourselves spinning or worrying too excessively. Venus in Virgo wants you to care for yourself in a grounded, practical manner, and also step back from worrying about things you can't control. And that is quite a universal human theme. So what Saturn in Pisces is also saying is, what would happen if you were just complete with this? If you just let go? What if you just released this? You didn't keep overthinking it. You didn't force yourself to find a solution or figure it out. What would happen if you just let go? And as soon as you let go, the clearest answer is going to arrive. We also have the square between Venus and Virgo and Mars and Gemini occurring. This will be exact at 22 degrees on August 22nd, the same day that the Sun enters Virgo at 10:55 a.m. Eastern Time. So here we now have a heavier emphasis on Virgo energies arriving, which wants simplicity, practicality, which wants you to look at what really matters and what doesn't, and to break it down into clear, concise steps or bits of information. Virgo is discerning and will give it to you straight around what matters and what doesn't matter right now, today, this hour. So we have Venus in Virgo squaring Mars in Gemini, and this could feel like you are battling between a choice and your energy feels tight around it. And Venus in Virgo ultimately wants peace and quiet. She wants to be left alone. She doesn't want to be pulled into various conversations or the overstimuli that Mars in Gemini wants. August 22nd will be a good day to be discerning around where your energy goes, what you pay attention to, what you focus on and what you don't, and to make clear choices of that doesn't matter. I don't have time for that. I'm not interested in that. And to honor that Virgo isn't going to be pulled into matters that feel childish or seem like a waste of time. So with the Sun in Virgo, there's going to be a sense of this is what matters now. I need to get this done. Streamlining is highlighted. Compartmentalizing is supported. Returning to important matters at hand and getting those done could even feel easier. I'm also feeling like it's great to clean out, whether that's cleaning out your house, your desk, your closet, your cabinets, your car. There could be a renewal here around the energy that exists in your daily environment. And you're like, I don't want this anymore. This feels too dirty. This is taking up too much space. And you could find that even this weekend, you're ready to move energy in a physical form. And certainly because Virgo is an earth sign, which is about the physical world, you could look around and say, wow, I really need new solutions here. I need some new storage bins or a new organizational system, or where's my label maker? But if you look at that with the energetics of it, we're looking to get in line with a higher part of ourselves. And this is where we sort through things and realize this isn't even serving me. So this is a good question as we move into Virgo season, is to be very clear around what is serving your energy and what is not, what is holding you down, holding you back, and where you maybe haven't seen things that are clogging your energy system or parts of your daily life. You could finally feel ready to tackle projects or issues that previously felt overwhelming. And that is a strength of Virgo, is to see it as simple steps that move you through a bigger process and get you to where you want to go. So this will be a great week for organizing in whatever form that takes for you. August 23rd, Mercury retrograde in Leo will trine Chiron retrograde in Aries at 23 degrees and sextile Mars in Gemini at 23 degrees. So this means we have a three-way conversation going on August 23rd and August 24th between Mercury retrograde, Chiron retrograde, and Mars. You're going to have new understandings and solutions of what has been a key theme in your healing journey. You're going to see things in a new light, understand what needs to be approached. There could be two options here, going back to that Mars and Gemini, where the higher and lower parts of yourself are trying to figure out what's worthy of your energy and time. I also feel that new remedies and healing solutions may present themselves August 23rd and 24th, and it could be quite unexpected. You could even have a personal breakthrough or personal insight arrive that gives you that solution or a form of understanding that you didn't previously see. This three-way connection between Mercury, Mars, and Chiron is happening at 23 degrees. So if you have 23 degrees of the fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or 23 degrees of the air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, then this will be working with you more personally and providing you with actionable ideas, inspiration to move ahead and to put those plans into motion, even though there will still be details to sort through and figure out, and also refuel you in some capacity. Perhaps a release point to what the mutable T-square has been splitting in you, again, being in two different expressions of yourself that are coexisting or trying to figure something out. This connection between three planets, Mercury, Mars, Chiron, is giving you an alternative solution and direction that will feel positive, uplifting, and even motivational. Then on August 27th, Venus in Virgo trines Uranus in Taurus at 27 degrees, and Venus has now broken free from the restraints of opposing Saturn in Pisces, and she is newly energized with shocking truths, revelations, and spiritual understandings that work for her. Venus trining Uranus gives us a boost to take a risk and break free of something. Now, this could be quite interesting because Venus in Virgo is not a risk taker. Neither is Uranus in Taurus. But together, there's the energy of change, doing something a new way, approaching an area of your life with renewal, with a new sense of freedom, changing up the schedule or a routine, perhaps noticing that your body does better when you exercise in the morning instead of exercising after work, for example. Tuning in to what the body is communicating to you is essential, and it's going to help liberate you from anything that you've held back from that you really want. Again, August 27th, you might feel like you're busting out of something and you're ready for approaching a part of your life from a higher perspective and to look at where you've been self-limiting, where you've constrained yourself and thought, oh, I can't possibly do that. I don't have time. I don't have resources. I don't have money. And then here comes Uranus and Taurus and says, actually, you do, and you're ready for it because it's going to be better for your energy on a daily basis. Then we have Venus in Virgo opposing Neptune retrograde in Pisces the next day, August 28th. This occurs at 29 degrees. And here we have a Venus who now is tired. Maybe that burst from Uranus in Taurus overloaded her system and was a lot to digest or integrate. And now she needs more rest. She wants a nap. She wants to be left alone. But this can support the changes that are coming through where you're allowing yourself to just go easy, trust what feels right, not force anything, and allow Venus and Virgo to adjust to the changes that are right on time. Now, the very next day, on August 29th, is when Venus enters Libra and then makes an immediate trine to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. I love this energy. It's occurring at 0 degrees of Libra, 0 degrees of Aquarius, and Venus is going to be empowered to transform for the first time in these two areas of your life. So this can be life-changing connections. This is power couples, strong unions, transformational relationships and connections. That's how August ends. August ends with a sense of, I'm going for this. I want this. There's powered up expressions and conversations. Pay attention to what you are discussing with others the end of August, what is being evaluated and considered. Also, how the energy can support the collective. Powerful messages, loving developments, and strong communications are all supported here. So even as Venus in Virgo is gathering herself together, figuring things out, wanting to do her best, wanting to ensure she gets things done, because Venus in Virgo is responsible. If she says yes, she's going to do it. And she doesn't want to disappoint you. She wants to make sure that she's giving you her all and her best. Then as she moves into Libra, she takes that out to share with others, to offer, to talk about it, to get feedback and understand what others are thinking or needing. But the trine to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius at 0 degrees is a big deal, because this is a Venus who is not only powered up and strengthened, she's more confident, she's more sure of herself, and that changes her frequency in a very powerful way. The end of August is a big deal for relationships. It's a big deal for the people in your life and who you spend time with, where you say yes, where you say no. You could even find that you are able to be more of yourself and allow others to be in their strength and power as well. And this feels like amazing co-creations coming together. I'll be talking about this more on next Wednesday's podcast too, but I wanted to give you a heads up of where Venus is going. That even as she struggled with these mutable energies in August, she ends the month in a more empowered state. It's a divine feminine strengthening. It's the sense of justice. It's the energy of acknowledging her own transformation, and that there's no going back to a previous version of self. And in Libra, this is not only self-love, self-acceptance, and your personal sense of worth, but this also up-levels the collective by that trine to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And with this happening at 0 degrees, again, 0 degrees Libra, 0 degrees Aquarius, there is a brand new starting point here that can't be denied. And we also note that within this same period of time, Mercury stations direct on August 28th. Mercury stations direct at 21 degrees of Leo. That occurs at 5:14 p.m. Eastern Time. And when Mercury stations direct, that standstill allows Mercury to not only stop, but it allows other energies to catch up with him. Because Mercury moves so fast, it's known as being the fastest planet in our solar system. But when Mercury appears to stop at that station direct, energy catches up with him, messages land, solutions come through. Think of when you stand still and then you allow what you need to arrive. The mind takes a break from overthinking and overprocessing. There is a need here to allow the mind to settle and to be aware of what you're hearing in your own energy that needs your attention, especially in Leo, which is about self-recognition, recognizing what you need, what you know you're worthy of, not compromising, not diminishing, not wrestling with yourself. This Mercury stationing direct in Leo is a rising of renewed courage, trusting your voice, trusting your thoughts, and feeling stronger in your own self-expression. And with this occurring around the same time that Venus enters Libra, one of her home signs, and is powered up at a transformational level with Pluto, maybe you're ready to take on something that previously felt too big or fearful. You could feel that you're living at a new level of life, a new level of yourself, and you're ready to approach Libra areas of your life from this new frequency. Venus in Libra is going to be stronger in how she conducts relationships, partnerships, and communications. She will be able to see matters more objectively. And I feel that this is deeply shifting the types of connections we allow into our lives, and also how we're willing to settle discord, disagreements, and remain in our power with those who don't like us. Because Libra is not only the sign of diplomacy, negotiations, connections, giving and receiving, it's the energy of people you disagree with. But Venus trining Pluto is allowing those divine feminine expressions within us to feel that you can handle it, you're objectively aware of it, you're not backing down, you're not going back, you're also not trying to make others happy. Venus in Libra can be this people pleaser who compromises herself in order to maintain a connection, to keep the peace, or to allow unhealthy dynamics to persist. But here, that trine to Pluto, she's saying no more. No more. I'm not doing this dance. I'm not compromising what I need. I'm not holding back my true self because I love myself too much to do that anymore. This is a huge change in your personal relationship dynamics and how those experiences are then felt. So people are going to be changing what they allow, what they want, the types of relationships that matter to them. I also feel this related to what the South Node in Libra has been requiring you to look at, or you've had to face some things about how you do relationships or how you either face or avoid conflict. This could stir up a lot for avoidant attachment styles. It can also require you to be wildly honest about your own relationship weaknesses or perhaps communication style that never really feeds you, never really works for you. This energy can highlight where there's been too much giving or too much taking. You might notice that you have a lot of takers in your life, but you've allowed it and you're saying no more. I'm now requiring equal exchange. And that can feel scary because that means you have to communicate your needs in a way that maybe feels vulnerable at first until it strengthens. The Libra energy can be waiting for the other person to go first or the other person to state something or to lead the way. And this is the energy of, okay, let me put it on the table for what I've been observing, what I've been moving through, and this is where I'm at. So this energy can open up more truthful communications where you're requiring yourself to be more upfront, such as, these are the relationship dynamics I've observed in myself. These are the unconscious habits that I've seen and that I'm working with and improving. And I want to get better at this. I'm doing my best to be better at whatever that is for you. And so going forward, I'm making a promise to myself to be clear in what I need, what I want, and what matters to me so that my needs are heard. The Libra energy can also feel like it's taken advantage of by being too nice or too accommodating. And even though we're not in Libra season, we are going to have our final Libra solar eclipse on October 2nd, and that will be occurring at 10 degrees of Libra. And I feel like this Venus trining Pluto, the end of August, is making it evident to you what you're no longer participating in, what parts of yourself are ready to up-level and be better in all forms of connections, partnerships. This is business matters as well. Like, for example, if you're a business owner or you control the money and employ a lot of people and people always want salary increases or they look for more from you, this could be a time where you care less about making everyone happy and instead prioritize what's the equal exchange here. And maybe this is too specific, but I'm getting the visual of people coming out and being like, oh, they always want more. They always want free upgrades. They always want to be taken care of and they expect it. Basically, people who never expect to hear a no. The end of August could be where you give people a no. No, that's not going to work anymore. No, that's not a priority for us or our company. And maybe that's the balancing mechanism. Venus in Libra is going to bring things into balance that might jeopardize some relationships, but that can also be an invitation for each person to see where they've been out of balance. So I think the end of August is going to bring up strong themes around values, relationship dynamics, powerful decisions, and a new start as well for whatever is healthier, more balanced, more sustainable, and an improvement for everyone involved. So in your chart, you would look at where 0 degrees of Libra and 0 degrees of Aquarius are for you. And these are the two houses where matters are going to be activated. And it's going to bring up social dynamics, relationships, communications, ideas, plans, projects, forward directions, what you're doing together, what the group is co-creating together, ensuring you're all on the same page. And if you are, that takes off, that moves forward. But if there are matters that are not in alignment with the direction that serves everyone, then people will fall away, things won't happen, plans will exit through the trap door, and there will be disconnects because you're not on the same page. End of August, big relationship dynamics that can be quite empowering and transformative, also very revealing, and an opportunity to be brutally honest with yourself. So these final 10 days of August are meant to help you relieve any ways you've been at war with yourself, to go higher and to be an observer of your own patterns, to integrate more of your intuitive knowingness and spiritual wisdom into your decision making. It's also an optimum time for taking care of yourself, balancing your nervous system, being honest about where you're overthinking, overprocessing, and to give yourself a break, to just give yourself downtime, to let go, to release, to not try to do it all or figure it all out, and instead allow the next steps, answers, and possible solutions to simply arrive as you trust your own beingness. Trust that you don't have to make it happen, but rather allowing it to happen and allowing it to show up could be the best way to go higher. And one intention you can set is to put your hand on your heart and feel how your heart beats with the beat of universal frequencies, that you are connected to the pulse of life in the universe, that you are the universe in human form, as the saying goes, and to see the miracles all around you, that we get to be on the planet during these grand cycles. We can accelerate in our growth at incredible speeds. We can bust through what no longer serves us, close out karma, be done with soul contracts, elevate up to the next level, live from new frequencies, and to keep manifesting. We get to keep manifesting. How awesome is that? So look at the wonders around you, see the miracles in the mundane, and remember to acknowledge that in yourself as well, that you are also that miracle frequency and an active heartbeat with the cosmos. I also wanted to share that my new book, Soul Growth Astrology, will be coming out in December. It's available for pre-order now. And when you pre-order it, you are then invited to join me for an exclusive Zoom masterclass where I'll be diving into more the particulars of soul growth for each of the 12 astrology signs. You'll receive a PDF handout during that masterclass. And this book is designed to give you practical, applicable ways to raise your vibration, to look at your own habits and patterns, and to see them in a new light of what you can choose. I give you exercises and journal prompts to reflect upon. Plus, I share with you client stories that bring these energies alive. And that was actually really fun, was to think back on various client stories. Of course, I don't use real names, but to demonstrate how the Sagittarius energy is designed to grow, for example, especially by understanding the unconscious belief systems that will drive those Sagittarius efforts. Can be very restless, always on the go, idealizing the next big thing, but then disconnected from everyday reality or even from worthwhile relationships. So that's just an example. But this book is meant to give you concrete ways to work with the planets in your chart and to discover new parts of yourself that maybe you weren't aware of. You didn't know that's how you were coming across, or that's how the energy was working within you. Now, I know it's early because you're thinking, oh my God, Molly, it's the end of August. Why are you talking about December? Well, because the Zoom masterclass is going to sell out. There's only so many spots that we have. So I just want to give you a heads up that even though it's not for a while, you'll want to reserve your spot, because when it's filled and I can't do anything about it. So I hope that those of you who are regular listeners, you grab a spot, because I love connecting with you on Zoom as well. I've also been doing some YouTube lives, which you'll find on my YouTube channel under the tab for lives. And I do hope to do one again on August 29th. That's Thursday, August 29th. And it will be sometime in the early afternoon Eastern time. So either 1 or 2 o'clock. I'll put that up on the YouTube live area of my channel shortly. And thank you to those of you who have been there and have said hi and left your comments. It's so great to have these live exchanges with you. So wishing you a beautiful journey through the end of August here. As always, I'll be back every Monday and Wednesday for a new podcast episode. And you can find all of my latest courses and offerings over at mollymccord.online, including the upcoming event in Boone, North Carolina at the Art of Living Retreat Center, where Rob Thomas and I are helping you combine your individual design frequencies in astrology and human design. And this is one of my favorite topics to teach right now. So I'm so excited about that. That's also on the website too. Have a beautiful weekend ahead. And as always, thank you so much for your time, energy, and presence. I look forward to connecting with you again very soon. Take good care.